The human brain is truly remarkable. It's the command center of our body. Our brain allows us to think, learn, and feel. This incredible organ is made up of many different parts. One way to understand the brain is to look at its lobes. The brain has 4 lobes. They are the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe, and temporal lobe. Each lobe has its own special job. Together they work in harmony. This allows us to experience the world around us. Let's start with the frontal lobe. This lobe sits at the front of our head. It helps us make decisions and plan for the future. The parietal lobe is found at the top of our head. It helps us understand our senses. These include touch, taste, and temperature. The occipital lobe is located at the back of our head. It processes information from our eyes. This allows us to see the world. Finally, the temporal lobe sits on the sides of our head near our ears. This lobe is responsible for our hearing and memory. The brain is made up of billions of tiny cells called neurons. Neurons communicate with each other through a process called synaptic transmission. Imagine neurons as dancers. They send messages to each other by passing tiny chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. When a neuron sends a message, it releases neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters travel across a small gap called a synapse. They then bind to receptors on the receiving neuron. This process happens incredibly fast. It allows us to process information and react to our environment in real time. Scientists use a special device called an electroencephalogram, EEG, to study brain activity. An EEG measures the electrical signals produced by our neurons. It's like listening to the brain's symphony. Small sensors are placed on the scalp. These sensors detect the tiny electrical signals produced by neurons as they communicate. These signals are then amplified and displayed on a screen. Doctors and scientists use EEGs to diagnose a variety of conditions. These include epilepsy, sleep disorders, and brain injuries. Studying the brain helps us understand how we think, learn, and behave. This knowledge is essential for developing new treatments for neurological disorders.